So you're thinking about buying a house. First step, let's get pre-approved for your home loan. Does that sound a little scary? It doesn't need to. Let's talk about what that means. First step, online application. You can also do this over the phone if online is not your thing, but I'm guessing by the fact that you're watching this video, online's probably okay. When you go online, you're gonna enter all the basic information, who you are, where you live, where you work, how much money you make. You're gonna talk about your assets. How much do you have in your checking account, your savings account, your retirement accounts? What the lender is looking for here is what kind of down payment money do you have available to you? We wanna know, do you have 5% down? Do you have 10% down, 20%? Are you getting a gift from a family member or a friend? We wanna know, what sort of reserve funds do you have available? Do you have extra money sitting aside even if you don't plan to touch it? All of these sort of things can strengthen your application. Sometimes they will help you. It definitely won't hurt you, but you don't always need them. So don't be afraid if you don't have a lot of money saved up. Most first-time homebuyers do not have 20% saved up, so don't be afraid of that. The next thing that we're looking at is your employment history. We always have to document at least 2 years of employment history. Maybe you're fresh, new in this job. Maybe you're considering changing jobs. That's all okay. Just talk with your lender, talk with your loan officer. We'll figure it out together. So we're gonna look at your 2-year job history. We wanna know how you're paid. Are you a salary, an hourly employee? Do you get bonus? Do you get commission? Are you self-employed? Depending on that, that's gonna determine what kind of documentation we need to determine your qualifying income. We're gonna look at your pay stubs, your tax returns, your W-2s, maybe some other documents, a written employment verification perhaps, to see what your qualifying income is. Your qualifying income determines your debt to income ratio, more on that later, and that is one of the biggest things that determines how much of a mortgage do you qualify for. We also need a 2-year address history of where you've lived. Again, maybe you've been renting, maybe you've been living with a family member. We just need to know. It's just part of a full application for underwriting. The next thing we're gonna ask is about your debts and liabilities. Most of these things are gonna come up on your credit report. It could be a current mortgage, it could be credit cards, student loans, car loans, anything that you have to pay regularly, monthly. Again, most of these things are going to come up on your credit report. This does not count your electricity, your cell phone bill, any of those sort of utilities. That stuff does not count. But if it is court ordered, like child support, alimony, those sort of things, we do need to know about that. Typically, those are not going to show up on a credit report. Every now and then they do, but those aren't going to show up on a credit report, so make sure you disclose that early. I have definitely had loans in the past where I didn't know about that, and it killed the deal. So just be open and honest with your loan officer. We're going to find out everything anyways. We really get in your dirty financial sock drawer, so just be open. We want to help you. We don't want to deny your loan. I know this can be really intimidating because maybe you have a little bit of a not so clean past, but we're on your side. We don't want to say no. We want to help you. So just tell us what's going on. Tell us what your goals are, and we can help you figure out how to get there. We're also going to ask if you've owned a home before, if you have any judgments, bankruptcies, foreclosures, child support, alimony. There's a whole list of questions. And then there's some demographic questions at the end. These are not my favorite sort of questions, but it is a required part of the loan application. And to my understanding, this is due to previous redlining issues in the past where people were discriminated against. And so we ask these now so that loan officers can be tracked and made sure that they're not discriminating now. So go ahead and fill that out. If you don't feel comfortable answering those questions, you can just check, I choose not to answer. It's totally fine. Then you're going to go ahead and hit submit. on your loan application. Everything will get sent into the lender. And then if you use the application like mine, the artificial intelligence will say, hey, please upload these documents. They're going to give you a list. Typically, those are going to be bank statements, pay stubs, your driver's license, and then maybe some other things from there. It's all going to depend on what you put into your application. Your loan officer then is going to go look at the application, and we're going to say, hey, this looks good. This looks good. I have questions about this. I have questions about that. Oh, this is a problem. This is not a problem. We're going to go through, we're going to make notes about everything. And then what I always do is call the person right away and say, hey, I'm looking at your application. This is what I see. I have a couple questions about this. When can we sit down and talk over everything? Let's answer these few quick questions right now. And then I'm going to put together some numbers. And I want to sit down when you have time to go over everything with me, especially with anybody else that may be on the loan application with you. So we set that time. I like to meet in person if people are comfortable doing that. I know since the pandemic started, we do a lot of online Zoom meetings, FaceTime meetings. Sometimes we just talk over the phone, and that's all great. If you want to meet in person, that's great too. We just want to make sure that you feel comfortable because this is such a big decision. It's a lot of money. It's a huge investment, and you really need to feel comfortable with what you're doing. So from there, we are going to make sure that we answer any questions that you have, and we're going to help you set your budget for when you actually shop for the house. The questions that I typically ask, what is the maximum down payment you have available? Is it $0? Is it $500,000 or somewhere in between? And what's that maximum number? And what are you really comfortable bringing to the table on closing day? I'm also going to ask, what is your ideal monthly mortgage payment, including your taxes, insurance, and mortgage insurance? If you know that going into the meeting, it's super, super helpful. My next question is going to be, let's say you found the perfect house. You love it. You do not want to miss out on this property. It is better than your best dream come true. You'll stretch to this mortgage payment. You really don't want to pay that much, but God, this house is so great. You'll make this payment. If you can answer that number and the ideal number, we can help you set that budget so you know, don't go over this amount. Because if you go over that, you're just really going to be uncomfortable with your payment. We don't want you to be out of your budget, out of your comfort zone. So we'll set that parameter in that meeting, and then we'll set you up in our pre-approval app. This thing is so great. Then you can get your pre-approval letter on demand. You can go in and plug in different price ranges. You can say, hey, I found this house at 123 Main Street. It costs this amount. I'm going to put this much down. Here's how much taxes are. I called and got a quote for my homeowner's insurance, so I know it's going to be this much. My monthly payment is going to be exactly this. You can be super comfortable with all of that. From there, you will be all set. Hopefully you'll have all your questions answered. And if not, you'll have all my contact information. You'll have my cell phone. You'll be able to text me at any point in time, but you'll really be ready to meet with your realtor and go find that perfect house. If you have any questions or want to get pre-approved, call me, text me, email me. Visit trishreedy.com to start your application today.